Okay. So, week 2. Evolution and genetics. So, where do we start with evolution and genetics? Well, you see, species. We are a species. Animals are a species. So, start with species. But what is species? Well, species. So, species are a group of creatures. You know, us, dogs, cats, dolphins, monkeys, which, well, they breed together. We all know what it means. To create or produce viable and fertile offsprings. That, well, in other words, you know, having babies, reproduce, make new babies, keep the line going, just like that. Creatures breed together, produce viable and fertile offsprings, new generations. But species have similarities that share one with other. For example, some of them live on a certain specific place, like maybe, I don't know, deers live in a similar place. No, sorry, polar bears live in a similar place in one part of the world. But there are also other type of species that live in separate ways of the world. For example, well, the right whales. And we also have species that are similar one to another between the same, like deers, or variable, like dogs. Like they're all dogs, but with different type of dogs, and they're not all similar. There are also other characteristics, such as some species of the same species share behavioral traits. Okay. Well, related to social groups, food preferences, and reproductive strategies. And also, we have that species can be distinguished between, well, its own members. So, in between a specific species, you can say, oh, for example, us with humans, oh, that's Bob, that's Tom, that's Maria, because you can differentiate between the same species, and this also applies to other species. Or distinguish is the correct word. Or differentiate, distinguish. Sorry about that. Okay, so well, that's general explanation of species. now we start with the juicy part, scientists. So we have Archbishop James Ussher. Between, okay, one moment. Sorry about that, don't know what happened. So again, Archbishop James Ussher, between 1581 and 1656. So what Archbishop James Ussher said is that based on his own interpretation of the Bible, on the Genesis book, well, he created his perception of the origin of the earth, and therefore, well, humans. So important thing to know about this is by perception or interpretation, correct word, interpretation of Bible, Genesis, important to know Genesis. The origin of earth and human. This happened supposedly, or what the book's teacher classes say, on October 23 of 4004 before Christ. Okay. Then we got, that's number one. Number two, George Cuvier. I don't know if it's pronounced correct, but well, George Cuvier. (1769), nice, and 1832. So George Cuvier, basically, he was a catastrophist. What's a catastrophist? His name said catastrophe. So catastrophists. So basically, because of global and violent catastrophes, we can explain catastrophes. We can explain canyons, mountains, rivers, valleys that, well, we see day to day in our lives. And yeah, that's it. And then we got Carolus Linnaeus. But for this one, I think we're gonna need a little bit more of space. We can do it here, yeah. So, three. Carolus Linus, 1758. So he established the comparative biology, that basically categorize the worlds of humans and plants between 7 layers or taxon groups. Okay, so categorize worlds of plants, well, not humans, animals, sorry. Animals to 7 basic layers, taxon levels. And what are those 7 taxon levels? So here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got kingdom, phylum, like Philip, phylum, class, phylum, you're so classy. Yeah, phylum, class, order, like we need order, family, genus, finally species, yeah. Yeah, so again, we can do the same as the first video to memorize all of this by king, or geez, I don't like this much. Keflorphages. I think it is kingdom. Yeah, maybe it will be better. So in a kingdom, there was Philip, who has a lot of class, he dressed very well, but he always needs to maintain order between his family, because genus, I think genus will be the son here, because genus has a lot of monkeys in his house. Yeah, so between a kingdom, phylum, with a lot of class, well dressed, got to maintain order in his family because genus have a species of monkeys. Okay, maybe we can use the story. That will be way easier to remember. And yeah, those are the 3 scientists. We also get what it means, well, we also need to explain what it is strata and stratigraphy. So just for like note, strata and stratigraphy. Okay, so strata and stratigraphy are the chronological sequence of ecological events on lower levels, beginning on the oldest and reflecting the history of life on Earth. So let's say that we have, I don't know, Bob. And Bob, well, Bob is dead. Yeah. But Bob, when he died, this was 5 million years ago, 6 million years ago, 7 million years ago. And Bob died 7 million years ago. So Bob, let's say, is over here. but he also, I don't know, there's Stuart, I guess. He also died 6 million years ago. It's here. I don't know, no one died here. So we are gonna find that, the oldest we can find layer of the Earth. We can find history through time. Okay? More lower, more old. More up, new. Or at least close. So no, it will be chronological sequence of geological events with the lowest, that's right, layers. Yep. Beginning, the lowest, and reflecting history of life on Earth. Okay, so again, yeah, we got very quick recap because we need to go to the next scientist, Lamarck, or no, mechanism, sorry, Lamarck. So species, group, creatures, breed together, create, produce viable and fertile offsprings. Next, generations. Yeah. Share things, behavioral traits such as social groups, food preferences and reproductive strategies, and they distinguish all the members inside the species, and sometimes between others, of course. And well, as we mentioned, there are some that are in one place, some others that are in other places, or that are similar or different between the same species. We don't put it here, but we know it. First scientist, Archbishop James Ussher. Bible Genesis, origin of Earth. Most important thing. George Cuvier, catastrophist. Catastrophe. We know what catastrophe is. Global, violent, blah blah blah, canyons, rivers, blah blah blah. Finally, Carolus Linnaeus. Comparative biology, important. Plants and animals categorized in 7 layers, or taxon. Remember, taxon. And by the history that we created, in an old kingdom, there was Philum, who has a lot of class and always tried to maintain order between his family, because Genus, his son, had a lot of species of monkeys inside his house. Yeah? Story. Okay. And strata and stratigraphy, as we mentioned, explanation here. So, chronological sequence of geological events. Lower layers are reflecting history on Earth. Lowest, oldest, or up, more recent. Yeah. Now let's go to the next part. what's next? We got the mark, first mechanism. Okay. Shit. So basically, it's three different parts of this mechanism. The first one is the adaptation to the environment. Okay. Then we get the progression to perfection. Progression, perfection. And then the inheritance of acquired characteristics. And if we want to take another example, think about giraffes. Some started with very short neck, and we got others with longer necks, and then longer necks. And why is that? Because trees were tall. They need to eat. So they adapt to the environment, a new environment where trees were tall, progressing to perfection, and taking those acquired characteristics for being able to eat. Okay? Then we change to the next information. Okay, so we got that Darwin and Wallace on 1859 established two different types of selection between the species: natural selection and the sexual selection. Okay, so Darwin, Wallace, like Wally, Wallace. In 1859, established the natural selection natural selection. Yeah. So natural selection, you know, it's a variation that exists between individuals of the same species. Some are stronger, some are smarter, some are better. You know? It allows for adaptation to changes in the environment. They're just simply better. And then we got sexual selection. That, well, it says that those individuals better adapted to environment. We have the highest reproductive success. Okay. Okay, so perfecto. Entonces, so week 2, evolution of genetics. We continue with the previous information that we were talking about Darwin and Wallace in 1859, about the natural selection and the sexual selection. So yeah, we have the mechanism of natural selection. And what does this mechanism do? Is that it increases the frequency of a beneficial trait inside a group of species, inside a population or species, okay? Beneficial traits inside or between population of species, okay? So all of these traits and variations that are presented are random. So variations are random and with no direction. Okay? Also, all these changes occur based on the mechanism of adaptation of a certain species through changes that are presented in the environment, okay? So as we explained before, depending on how the environment change or the new things that you need to adapt for, that's why these variations are presented, okay? So changes for adaptation due to changes in the local environment. Okay? Perfect. Now, all these changes work with the variations that are already presented in a population. Okay? So all of this is going to work with those changes that are already presented. Okay? So changes occur as an adaptation, sorry, to, I already explained this. Yeah, I was on changes work, sorry about that, variation of traits already presented in the population. Okay? And again, with no direction. Okay? Now, if we go to the sexual selection and the survival of the fittest, yeah, we got two different types of variations that can be presented. So there are the favorable variations and there are also the unfavorable variations. Okay, so good and bad, just like that. So for the favorable variations, we know that they promote the survival of the individuals to whom they appear. Whom they appear. Okay. Now, wait. Now, sorry for the cut. We got that all the traits are inherited by their offsprings. Okay, we all know what offsprings is, we already explained it. Okay, whose chances of survival are better. Why are they better? Well, we know that they are better because they already adapt to the new situations. That's why they are better. And these favorable variations, they will spread to the whole population. So what we meant with this is that, for example, we get a certain group or offsprings that get one variation that it's better for the whole population. So passing, like, if you go through time, this new variation, good variation, will pass through all the complete population. Okay? So, several variations. Spread through the population. Okay? Now, we got the favorable variations, now we got the unfavorable variations. Well, simply they are variations that don't promote survival. Okay? Now, these variations may cause the individuals to die at an early age. Okay. They also may reduce the fertility and, well, all the offsprings of those unfavorable variations will be deleted. So, may reduce fertility so that means less offsprings. Well, finally, we know that since they are unfavorable, well, it's not need to them for stay. So they're going to be, again, just removed from the population because we don't want to stay with that bad variations. So, favorable are going to be removed from the population. Okay? Now, it's important to mention, like a point, that all the natural forces will act in favor of the expansion of some new traits. Okay? Okay. So that's for the sexual selection and survival of the fetus. Now we get another scientist, going back with them. This will be, yeah, this one, yeah. Okay, so Gregor oh, I will cut that. Gregor Mendel. (1822) and 1844 in Austria. Just one experiment was made. He started experimenting with, here it is, with peas, like pea plants. So, experiment with pea plants. Okay? So what he found out is that traits are passed in small independent packages okay, from both of the parents. And now, how can we explain this? Is by this simple graph. So let's say we have here, we need colors for this. So, green beans, orange beans. So, green beans and orange beans. Okay? So let's say that green beans have code of x and green of and orange of g. Okay, so in this case it will work like this. We got green. Oh. An orange. Oh, that would be better the other way around. Yeah. So yellow, orange, and green. X. Oh, yeah. J. Sorry, it will be xj for this one. No, xj. Okay. No, yeah, it's jj. Sorry. Yeah, we're okay. Jj. So for this one, we will have an xj, xx, and xj. But since x is the dominant gene, all these beans, because they have the x, will be green. But let's say that in the next generation, this one, or this one, green also, has this code. Instead of XX, now it has XJ. Okay? It goes with another JJ bean. What will happen here? It's XJ, 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 J, J. So we have again another JJ. So that means we're going to have one orange bean that it's possible to appear in this new generation. It's like 25% possibilities. Okay. So we have So we have some different concepts for all of these that are important to know. So what are these concepts? First one is the homozygous state. Then the homozygous state is when for a given trait an individual receives the same gene from the parents. So homogeneous state, individual receive same gene from the parent. Then in this case, the parent will be this one, the green. Okay? Oh, no. Both of them are parents. Sorry about that. No. What it means with parent and individual receives the same gene from the parent is that he will receive both that are the same. Okay? Like two genes that are exactly the same. And then we have the heterozygous, heteruzygous state. That also for, well, individual, for given trait, the individual receives two different genes. Two different genes. So in this case, that will be X and Y. Okay? Now, another concept. Alice. Alice is a set of different forms for a given gene. Okay? And then, as I mentioned before, we got dominant genes, but we also have recessive genes. Okay? So, dominant genes are the ones that are going to be, in this case, presented, X, and the recessive gene, in this case, will be the J. Okay? They are overpowered by the dominant gene. So now, changing to the next part. Oh. Good. We got the independent assortment. Okay? And we have different concepts too that we need to know about the independent assortment. First concept, genotype. So the genotype is all the genes in an individual. This represents our cells and all the generic structure that gives our DNA. Okay? Then we got the phenotype. That phenotype is a visual individual. Okay? So, is the explosion of the dominant gene plus all the changes that this individual has faced up has faced in his life or her life, in the life, you know, in life, yeah, in his life, or yeah, in whatever. Then we got genome too. That the genome is the entire range of allies in a species, or the genetic pool, way more easier. Pool. Also have the gene complex. That includes genes completely different from the genome. Sorry, yeah. So the gene complex are genes that are completely different, but from the chromosomes, not the genome, the chromosomes. Yep. Now we also have a special type of genes for the co-dominant genes. That instead of being, instead of being recessive or dominant, they both blend together, okay? So, blend together. No dominance or surrender. Okay? Like the hair color. Okay? That's it for the independent assortment. Okay? Now we go for the next thing. That will be genes and DNA. You have, there it is, genes and DNA. Okay, so as we all know, DNA is double helix. Helix. Okay. By creek in 1953, and well, 4 different bases. Char, adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. ones go like this and like this. So it's A, T, G, C for DNA. Okay? We also need to know that codon is a group of 3 bases. And that genes are a sequence of codons. So genes, sequence of codons. Okay? Pretty easy. AT, GC. Thingy for RNA. That's something like AU. Yeah. Okay. We also have chromosomes. Yep, chromosomes are genes organized in DNA. Okay, all of them are paired. One each from another. And we also know that we have 46 chromosomes, which from those 46 chromosomes, 23 are from the parent, mother and father. 23 are father, mother. Okay? Those 22 are paired chromosomes. And 2 sex chromosomes. Okay? Perfect. Also, we know that X is the largest chromosome. And Y is the smallest chromosome. That's why this one is dominant and this one is not. Okay? Oh yeah, by the way. XX female, XJ male. Just like that, no more. Let's see. Now, between the DNA, there can be some, well, mutations. Let's go. Yeah, okay, so going through, we got mutations. Mutations. Okay? Mutations. That's it. So, mutations are random mechanical errors that happen during the DNA synthesis. Okay? So that's equal so an end. Well, why does these random mechanical errors occur? The reason why this happens mainly is by three different reasons, factors. First one, chemical pollutants. Cosmical nuclear radiation, or cosmic, better. Cosmic nuclear radiation. And finally, by insecticides. Just like that. So, we got che, co, in. And as you see, Formula 1, Checo, Chiquito Pérez, Chiquito Bebé, in, on los pits. So we got Checo in, chemical, cosmic, insecticides, just like that. Formula 1. Okay. Now, next, genetic flow. So genetic flow. Okay. Well, genetic flow, concept important to know. DIMS. DIMS is the subdivision with people that separate breeding populations. And why does it happen? It is due to social and environmental purposes. Okay? So, all these separations that occur, we have undergone natural selection. Okay? So, DIMS, subdivision with people that separate undergone natural selection. they, it's not they, it's just like this separation of populations happens because they have undergone some natural selection. Okay, because they already go for that natural selection. So if there's two genes who interbreed, there will be a new genetic on that population. So all the offsprings will have a new gene combination. Okay? So the genetic flow, what we'll do is to act as a homogenize the population for preventing the separation. Okay? So yeah, DIMS is the concept. It's not explanation of genetic flow, it's just the concept of what's a DIM. So if we get two DIMs, the offsprings will have a new genetic combination. Okay? So now, genetic flow, what we'll do is to homogenize populations. Two genes. In this case, for preventing specialization. Sorry, not specialization. It's SPECIATIO, speciation. And what that means is the formation of new and different species in the course of evolution. Okay? So this means new and different species, well, different and distinct, species in the course of evolution. Okay? Perfect. Now we go with next subtopic. Well, I don't know if I've done this before. Okay, yeah. So, now, genetic drift. So, in the genetic drift, we got drift. We got two different concepts, which are fusion and fission. Fission and fusion. What does fission and fusion means? This is split and this is join, just like that. So, larger atom splits into two smaller, and here two or more atoms join into one larger. Okay? Now, we have another concept that comes from the generic brief, which is founder effect. Which has two different parts. First one is that in a small population, there can be a few individuals who possess a particular gene. So, if these individuals don't have any offsprings, these genes are going to be lost forever. Okay? It's like it was on, like red eyes on humans. Centuries ago, supposedly we got red eyes, but there were no any offsprings because they were killed, and now we have any red eyes. So that particular gene go lost forever. Okay? Small population, some have particular gene. That, if not offsprings, or they don't have offsprings, lost forever. Okay? From the population, of course, and from the genetic pool. Population. Okay? And then we get second, and in a closer population, remember that this is in small, and what we're going to explain now the closer population. So everyone is related. In a certain way. So what this do in the population is that the mutations that happen are spread very quickly. And why? Well, we are already all close, and everyone is, well, mutations are going to spread fast. Okay? So that means that that mutation will become the norm. Something normal on that population, toast population. And at that specific moment, no, that's just these two concepts. And then we go to, okay, so now that we have the small populations and closest populations, It can also happen that if a certain part of the population, let's say, I don't know, they isolate, so members of population isolates. What it will happen is that if this generic drift continues, what will happen is that these members, let's say members A, will not be possible to breed or have offsprings with members B, okay? So members A, no offsprings with B, okay? And they create a B, well in this case B is the original group, okay? Original group, the old ones, yeah. So by this time, these members are going to be a new species. Okay? Now, yeah, almost finishing week 2. We got the theories of separate speciation. Yeah. You know what speciation is? I think. Yeah, speciation. We had 2 different theories of speciation. We're going to explain them. Okay. So, theories of speciation. First one, it's the gradualism. Okay? So gradualism, what says it's that all populations are changing, but constantly. A little bit, but constantly. Okay? During all the time. So populations change all the time. Constantly. Or gradually. Into new forms of a species. And if we take a look at that type of speciation, you will see something like this. Okay. Now we have the second theory called punctuated equilibrium. That basically what it says is that populations are maintained stable until something happens, and that something are catastrophic changes. Well, here we come back to George Cuvier. But well, so yeah, those catastrophic changes in the environment that are presented mainly on long times of periods of time make these rapid and extreme changes of population that leads to new species. Okay, so well, we write it. Populations stable, not changing. Not changing. For long periods of time. Okay? Until catastrophe or catastrophic events changes environment lead to the species to extremely rapid changes. Okay? Giving new species. These extremely rapid changes, we can also call them as adaptive radiation. Okay? And well, also to illustrate the punctuated equilibrium, it will be something like this. Okay, here are catastrophes, catastrophe that may cause that change. Okay. And now, finally, our last subtopic of week number 2. We got the Can et al. 1987 African If. Okay? Can et al. 1987 African if some of you remember from the class was this thing, something almost like this. Some something like this. You know, I think it is to have something like this, but it's this thing. Important things about the African myth, points to consider, is that it's based for genetic studies. On modern population. Also that the mtDNA has a high mutation rate that mostly come from females. Follows a female lineage. Okay. We also know that the variation, mostly occur in Africa. So if we look to this thing, we'll see, I don't remember where, there's a place that shows this, okay? So in Africa there were more mutations. And other groups. So more mutations than other groups. Okay? Other point is that the standard rates of mutation at 2% to 4% per million years. Per million years. Okay? Finally, that in Africa, is the origin of the Homo sapiens. $200,000 years ago. Oh, just like a quick data is that 1 to 4% of the DNA yeah, 4% Okay, no. So it's 1 to 4% of. Okay, so yeah. So this note will be that the population outside of Africa share between 1 to 4% of DNA with the Neanderthals. Okay? With the Neanderthals. That will be okay. Neanderthals. Perfect. And that's it for week number 2. Thank you.